We are live, we are live, we are live. Hello, everybody. This is Gabriel with ODE, Online Digital Education. It's a group on Facebook that educators hang out in. They collaborate and they share experiences with each other so that everybody can succeed, through NLP. And that means rewiring your brain, for success, any type of success, whether you have a fear of stepping outside your door, whether you're feeling anxious socially, whether you're feeling low confidence, low self-esteem. So this is a community that I administrate, to help people out. And I'm also an educator. This is my teaching background. And I basically work with kids in China. But most of my time is spent working on positivity, working with people with NLP, neuro linguistic programming. And this is such a great way for people to, get past all these insecurities, all these limited beliefs that they have, at a daily basis that, we become part of that and it converts into a reality. And then from there, we get all, jacked up mentally and we stop to believe in things that are rational. We actually start to believe in things that are just like our own, fairy tale per se. So today is episode 143, and it is Saturday, July 10th, and it's titled Discovering Inner Strength Through NLP. And that's one of the greatest things that you can do. Discover your own inner strength. We're not talking about muscle strength, we're talking about mental strength. And within your brain, which is your main asset in life, you're going to find some amazing things about yourself that you just didn't even realize that were there. And all you got to do is basically pay attention to your brain. Give it an oil change once in a while because it'll do you good. So let me give you my full disclaimer before I continue, okay? Please note that this is not for those who continuously make excuses or are expecting to get rich overnight. There's no false promises here. There's no false guarantees. There's no, instant gratification. You don't get Bitcoins. You don't get none of that stuff here. This is an opportunity for you to be part of a high quality mastermind community on Facebook that I'm a part of as well. And I get an opportunity to guide you towards your mental success. And that's very important because if you want to succeed in anything, you got to have your head right. And a lot of us think we do, but we really don't. So you want to get your head in the game, and it's you against you. And it takes work. It takes commitment. It takes dedication. So if this is not something that, you're willing to put in, then this is not for you. And that's okay. And if you're looking to start and then quit in the next few weeks or months just because it takes work, then you're better off doing the same stuff you've been doing. And this is definitely not for you. And that's okay too. Everybody, usually gets to the point where they have to make a choice. And that usually happens when they get mad. So if you're going to get mad, use it as an acronym. MAD, make a decision. And when you make a decision to better yourself, things start to happen in a positive way. So I'm going to start you off with a quote by Viktor Frankl. This guy was amazing, and he's passed since. He was an Austrian neurologist, psychiatrist, philosopher, author, and a Holocaust survivor. And he said, when we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Those are wise words from a Holocaust survivor. If you cannot, or if you are not able to change a situation, you got to change you. You got to change the way you do things in order to accomplish those things that you want to do. This is all part of discovering that inner strength that you have. It exists within us. We just forgot how to use it, or we were never taught how to properly tap into our own internal resources so that we can actually become magnificent in a lot of ways. So even though life can be a fantastic ride, it can also kick you in the butt. Sometimes it can also knock you or knock the wind out of your sails. When tough times trigger your insecurities, you can't discover an inner strength that will get you through practically anything. So I have here 6 bullet points that I'd like to address to you about that inner strength. And try these ideas to get you started, and adjust them to what your perspective in life is. But keep it simple. Don't complicate it, because it's about you. So number 1, you want to reflect on the tough times that you've had before. Everybody goes through a tough time. Ask yourself, how can I get through it? What did you do to get through it? What did you think when you were going through it? What did you tell yourself as you're going through it? Your resilience will become evident as you do this exercise and give yourself real hope, at a daily basis, and then for the future, it'll start to become better. You'll start to realize and manifest things as you start to deal with these other obstacles. Recognize that you've made it through a few, difficult situations. Then think about what you're experiencing right now. Is the current situation similar to, or is it much different from other tough times? Use what you've learned from your past challenges. And again, when we're confronted with difficult times, that's a learning curve, right? We consider it failure, we consider it, a mistake, errors, but those are the things that will transcend you to that other you. It's like shedding the skin, growing the new backbone, and that's not a bad thing. To find that inner strength, you got to go through some processes in life. And life is not fair. Life doesn't care, and it'll never apologize. So number 2, you want to learn to talk to yourself in positive, encouraging ways. And this is something that I talk about a lot. This is something that I had to learn to do myself. And quite frankly, kind of love it. It doesn't matter what anybody's telling me in a negative tone. Not today. I work in the positivity, so I will not hear that. I'm gonna continue to work on the positive side of things, because it bodes well for me. It will for you too. This will help you build up your inner strength. This will help you start to really tap into that superpower that you have, so that you can go ahead and accomplish those things or get past those adversities that keep you, feeling all frazzled. As you're speaking to your own best friend, tell yourself, what will most help and encourage you? Tell yourself that. It's okay to talk to yourself as long as it's in a positive way. Don't let that inner voice chew you up with all that negativity and all that bonkers stuff, You already know that drives you nuts. So go the other way. What do you most want to hear from yourself? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that in the mirror. Ask the guy in the mirror or the gal in the mirror. What do you want to hear most here? What do you need to hear to help you gather strength? Is there something specific you're hoping will happen? Practice providing yourself with encouraging, uplifting messages. The messages that you give yourself can be less than helpful, or they can propel you, thrust you forward through the roughest of circumstances. I've been through a lot myself. There isn't anybody on the planet who can say they have not gone through some kind of difficult time. And now, through COVID, you got to say everybody's in the same boat. Talking to yourself with respect, care, and positivity builds your inner strength. So it's there when you need it. When the going gets tough, you have something to fall back on. And number 3, you want to allow yourself time to think through whatever the situation is. It's okay to feel confused. We're not perfect, right? So you get confused, you pause, you stop, you think about it. You're like, okay, what am I confused about? Asking yourself questions is going to help you, lift the fog. What are your ideas about how to weather the storm? Examine all the solutions that you can come up with. Brainstorming is a great thing, and man, it gets that brain muscle just working towards solutions. Explain to yourself what you'll do and how you'll do it. The more detailed that you are about your solution, the better your outcome is going to be. Have a sense of your own resourcefulness, okay? that can be found in your ability to pre-solve any kind of challenges, as you're going through them. And number 4, you want to consider who you regard as a role model or mentors. There's so many people in our lives, but who are the people that you feel are role models? You feel that you can learn by, in a positive way. You selected those people because you respect and admire them. They're strong enough people that you want to emulate them. So emulate them. Don't copy them. Model what they're doing to move forward in a positive way. And it just will work for you too. Not that it might work, it will work for you too. So believe in that. And, think about their strengths, of character. How do you know they have it? Ask yourself that question. Ask them that question. What does that strength look like? And how does it manifest? This is the power of your 5 senses, because we learn based on our 5 senses, smell, sight, hear, taste, and touch. This is how we learn on a daily basis. So ask, how does it manifest? And you're going to find the answers are going to be very interesting when they relate to you personally. Number 5, you want to reflect on what you've done or been through that you're most proud of. What can you take credit for? Was it making it through college, although you had to work while you attended classes? A lot of people have gone through that. Maybe it was moving out of your own or on your own for the first time and figuring it out, how you're going to take care of yourself. We've all been through that. I know I did. And that was a long time ago. And when you examine what you did to handle those situations and how you made it through, your brain's going to start recalling this inner strength that you had to overcome that, to get past that. You can get in touch with your own resourcefulness by revisiting those events that you take credit for. So take credit for the things that you were able to accomplish when they were tough. When the tough got going, wow, you got tougher, and that's even better. And lastly, sometimes you've just got to practice until you perfect it. A lot of people will say, I'm going to fake it till I make it. I don't subscribe too much to that statement. I used to, but that kind of creates an imposter syndrome in people, and they actually do not become that which they want because they're faking it. However, if you practice until you perfect it, now you're talking. You can probably recall a time when you felt afraid or you weren't sure that you could succeed, but you stood up and met the challenge head on because you practiced, you kept at it, and that's what got you through it. So discovering your inner strength is possible. It really is. Even in the toughest of times, that's when we get even tougher. When your back is up against the wall, the only thing to do is to spring forward. Following the steps above will help you discover your courage and resourcefulness. And this will, and with this self-understanding, you can just about handle anything. And you keep it positive for that reason, Now, when saying that, I'm giving a 5-day free 5-day series on self-esteem and self-confidence for the month of July, this month, for 10 people. And I provide one-on-one sessions to help you experience NLP. And on day 1, we'll be talking about appreciating your strengths. On day 2, affirming and accepting who you are. On day 3, eliminating negative self-talk. Day 4, eliminating toxic relationships. Get rid of those people, man, or at least put a stop to them. Curb that. And day 5, affirming others. So come and take advantage of that. Come into my newsfeed. Say, hey, I want in. I'd be more than happy to take you on for the month of July at no cost to you. My greater purpose is helping everyday people realize their magnificence with empowerment thinking for success. Yeah, you get to empower your brain. You get an oil change, on your brain. You put in some new, fresh perspectives, and all of a sudden, things start to see a little clearer. Book your session, a discovery session with me today, and receive a 10-week purposeful package to empower your life with. The goal of life coaching is to give people a positive outcome by rebuilding their BS. Belief system, not bullshit, belief system. Everybody has a BS. Optimizing their confidence and monetizing their educational experience for success. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Empowerment thinking for success will help you realize your success in personal health, wealth, and make you wiser, as you start to live a magnificent life of abundance. Abundance it's not just money. Abundance is abundance of happiness, things that are valuable to you in terms of, resources that you have already in you. Happiness, courage, resourcefulness, creativity, integrity, loyalty. Those are abundant in your life, and those create opportunities that will create, economic abundance. So remember that you're magnificent. I believe that you're magnificent. You must believe that you are as well. Let me know and leave comments below. Or come visit me at my community, ODE Group, Facebook community, that is about educators, ordinary, amazing people who are just a little bit stuck right here. And this pandemic era is just really crushing a lot of people's minds, and ask me for the 5-day, workshop. Leave a comment or leave me a private message on Messenger. I receive them every day. I love reading them, and I do enjoy, getting to know the people who write, and I respond to them. We have great conversations because that's all it is a conversation. I look forward to seeing your personal success. And then when we get that positive outcome, interviewing you live right here on the ODE Group. That way you can share those experiences with people who are probably going through the same things that you have, and they can pick up some kind of success tips from you. 688,000 people is my personal goal over the next 5 years. I would just love it if you were one of them. So go ahead and drop me a message or book a session with me, and we'll have a conversation. We'll do a discovery session, and we'll get to know what you want so that I can help you acquire. So today, Saturday, July 10th, and this has been episode 143, titled Discovering Inner Strength Through NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. You guys have a great weekend, and God bless.